Welcome, yogis. This is Kristen Chamberlain here with you again today with Yoga Connect for Clear Creek County. Today I'll be leading a class of tweens and teens, so those starting about 10 or 11 all the way up to adulthood, although some of our younger kiddos from ages 7 and 8 might be able to join us safely as well. Before we begin and move on to our mats, there's a few things I want to go over with you. First of all, I want to go over a promise of safety in our bodies. So I'm going to have you swear an oath with me today. So raise your hand and begin by repeating after me. I solemnly swear. I'm not sure I heard you. Let's try this again. I solemnly swear that I will be safe in my body. I promise to listen to my body's cues and participated in postures or poses that are safe for myself and others around me. This is my yoga oath. Thank you for participating with me. So the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is just do a little bit of a check-in with your body. I'm going to ask questions before and after class. So I'm going to bring this up to you right now. So the first question I'm going to ask is, how stressed do you feel in your body? With 1 being not at all, perfectly calm, and 5 being the most stressed you've ever felt. And when we start before class, go ahead and write a number where you feel you are right now. And then our next question is, how calm do I feel in my body? With 1 being not at all, and 5 being the most calm you've ever felt, maybe lying on a beach, taking a bath, or laying in your bed at night. And take a moment to decide how calm you are in your body from 1 to 5, and write that down in our before class. We're going to set that aside, and I'll check in with you after class. Now lastly, before we get into the poses, I want you to find a small piece of paper, maybe a note card or a Post-it, or just a paper folded in half. And I want you to start with a couple of things just to think about. And we'll use these later on in our yoga class. So the first thing I want you to think about is that our lives have changed so much over these past couple of weeks. So I want you to name 1 or 2 things that you miss since so much changes have happened in our life. And once you're done with that, I want you to write 1 or 2 things that you're grateful for. And as you think about those things, write them down. And once you've written them down, go ahead and set them aside. Maybe you can tuck them under your mat or just set it beside you. And we'll come back to that towards the end of our yoga class. Thank you so much for joining me. And in a moment or two, I will meet you on our mats. All right, now that we've made it onto our mats, we're gonna actually start in a standing position. So what I want you to do is, as you stand still, just kind of notice what your body needs to do naturally. Maybe you notice that you need to kind of rock forward and back on your toes. Maybe you want to swing your arms from side to side. Maybe you want to do a couple side stretches here. Or take a moment to play on your mat, so maybe walking back and forth on your mat. Just finding your space and letting go of whatever movements that need to happen here. So maybe it's a little bit of a shake, maybe we kick out our feet. And then once you kind of felt like you've come to a place of maybe I can hold my body still, we're gonna meet at the top of our mat in our mountain pose. So this is Tadasana mountain pose. So take a moment to look at your feet. You're gonna see that you have some toes, so look at your toes and wiggle them. Maybe as you wiggle your toes, you can feel the arches lift. Maybe you also notice that I like to hang out in my toes, or maybe the weight's a little bit more in your heels, and try to find something where the weight in your toes or your heel are about the same. And then we're gonna start with a little bit of movement. So we're gonna just add some breath and movement together with some half sun salutations. So how this goes is bring your hands out by its side. Lift your shoulders, raise them up and bring them back. As you press your feet down into the floor, lift your kneecaps up and draw your belly button in. So now the pose feels a little different. So as we stand in the mountain pose, feel tall and strong, just like a mountain. And on your inhale breath, breathe in the air. Lift your arms up, reach them nice and tall. And on your exhale breath, bend your knees a lot and swan dive your arms all the way down until you're in a forward fold, reaching towards your mat. And if you can't touch your mat, maybe grab onto your shins. On your inhale breath, bring your hands high on your shins. Press your shins and your hands together. Stretch your spine long. And then exhale, lower all the way down towards the floor. Your inhale breath is going to reach you up nice and tall. Reach for that sky. And exhale breath, hands are going to come down to the sides. We're going to do that one more time using our breath. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, lower all the way down. Inhale, hands to shins. Stretch your spine long. Exhale, lower all the way down. Big breath in, lifts you tall. Exhale, hands are going to reach down to your sides. Let's do one more. Big breath in. Slow breath out. Bend your knees, lower all the way to the floor. Big breath lifts your head and chest forward. Exhale, lowers them all the way down. Inhale, stretch up nice and tall. This time, clasp onto your hands. Point your pointer fingers up towards the ceiling and exhale, bend to the right. Pause for a breath in. Big breath out. Inhale, arms come back to center. Exhale, now bend to the left. Take a big breath in. And out. Inhale, brings your arms up, stretch up long through the sides of your waist. Exhale, bend your knees, cactus your arms, and lift your chest. Inhale, stretch up nice and tall. And exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. From here, bend your knees a lot so that your hands can support you on the floor. Step back one foot, and then the other. You can bend your knees and lower yourself all the way down to the floor for a cobra pose. Squeeze your elbows in together. Lift up through your chest. Inhale, breathe in. Exhale, lower down. If you want to add a snake breath here, big breath in. Exhale. Last one, big breath in. Exhale. Inhale, bring your come up to your hands and knees. And exhale, press your hips back, downward facing dog. So I'm gonna move to my long mat that's in a T right now. You stay in your downward facing dog. Press your hands forward, but bend your knees a lot. And then if you want to here, you can walk your heels as if you're pressing one heel down to the floor and then the other. Do that a couple more times. Feel the stretch in the back of the legs. This might feel like a lot to many of you. And on your inhale breath, bend your knees a lot and look towards the top of your mat. And exhale as your feet walk up to your hands. Let your head and neck go heavy. Forward fold. From here, you can grab onto your opposite arms here and maybe sway from side to side. Notice how you sway from side to side. You'll feel the weight move from one foot to the other. Come back to center. Pause for a breath in. And big breath out. Inhale, hands to shins. Stretch your spine long. Exhale, bend down, forward fold. Inhale, lift your arms up, stretch nice and tall. Exhale, hands down to your sides. I'm going to do one more like that facing this way. You can stay at the top of your mat. Take a moment, notice your feet, lift your toes, maybe wiggle your toes, and then press those toes down into the mat. Imagine that you're going to split your mat apart by scooting your legs out, even though they're not going to go anywhere. Let your belly stay nice and strong. Drop your shoulders down on your back. Lift your chest. Look up towards the top corner of the ceiling. Exhale all your air out. Inhale, lift your arms up. Stretch tall towards the ceiling. Exhale, bend your knees a lot. Fold all the way down to the floor. Whether you touch the floor or not, it doesn't matter. Inhale, stretch your spine, long tailbone back. Head towards the front of the room. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, stretch up nice and tall. Reach up tall. Exhale, hands come down to your sides. One more, just like that. Inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, bend all the way down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, stretch long. Exhale, bend your knees a lot. Step one foot back and other foot back. And you can stay in a plank pose here if you're feeling nice and strong. Otherwise, you can always lower your knees down. Take one more big breath in and exhale, come all the way down onto your belly, hugging your elbows in towards your rib cage. Uncurl the toes. Let's do that snake breath one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, snake breath. Big breath lifts you up. Exhale, snake breath. Inhale, lifts you up. And exhale, snake breath. Inhale, come to tabletop, hands and knees. And then exhale, stretch back, downward facing dog. Bend your knees a lot, lift your hips high. Press your mat towards the front of the room. This time, maybe lift one leg up. Stretch it tall. Exhale, set it down. Inhale, other leg up, stretch it tall. Exhale, set it down. Pause for one more big breath in. Big breath out. Bend your knees a lot, like you're gonna hop forward like a frog. And then either step, hop, or walk your feet towards your hands. Next big breath, hands to shins. Stretch your spine long for that halfway lift. Exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Inhale, stretches you nice and tall. And exhale, brings your hands down to the center of your chest. Pause at the top of your mat. I will join you on this side again. And as you pause on your mat, place one hand over your heart and the other hand over that. Notice how your heartbeat may have gotten a little faster. And try to slow it down. As we try to slow the heart down, what we're going to do is change our breath. And I'm going to teach you a breath called box breath, or sometimes referred to as square breath. So exhaling all of your air out. Inhale through the nose to the count of 4. 2, 3, 4, and hold your breath. 2, 3, 4. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Keep it out. 2, 3, 4. We're going to do 2 more like that. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. Exhale out. 2, 3, 4. Keep it out. 2, 3, 4. Last one. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. And hold. 2, 3, 4. And exhale. 2, 3, 4. Hold it out. 2, 3, 4. Let your breath go back to normal. And what do you notice about your heart and your heart rate? Did it slow down? And does your body feel a little bit more calm? Release your hands down to the sides. So we're going to teach you a warrior series here. You're gonna stay towards the front of your mat, but I'm gonna move over to the side as we did before. I'm going to break down each pose one at a time, and then eventually we'll link them all together. So we're gonna start with Warrior One pose, and I'm actually gonna show Warrior One from this angle. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna keep my right foot forward, and I'm gonna step my left foot back. Now you're gonna step your left foot back, so maybe that it's about 3 feet, or just find a place that's comfortable and safe for your body. If your knee is going over your toe, you might be not wide enough, so step your feet a little bit more wide. And then now we're gonna put our feet as if they're on skis, not snowboards. So you might walk your right foot to the right a little bit and turn your left toes, or your back toes, out to the side at an angle. I like to put my hands on my hips to make sure my hips are turning towards the front of the room. And then I bend my knee so that I can still see my big toe, but that it's not buckling in or moving too far out. So your knee is going to be right above that second or third toe. Now as you press both feet into the floor, press like you're going to press that right foot forward and back, and then your left foot back towards the back of the edge of the mat, and you'll feel a little bit of something in your legs. And as you zip that belly button nice and tight, maybe you reach your arms up towards the ceiling. This is our Warrior One pose, or some people refer to as the Hero's pose. So take a big breath out, lift up through the sides of the waist. Exhale, maybe bend a little bit more forward in that front knee. One more big breath in. Big breath out. Release your hands down to your hips, and we'll switch to the other side. So step now your left foot forward, right foot back. And find that spot that works best for you. So maybe you walk your left foot to the left a little bit. Maybe you just take a peek at those back toes, make sure they're pointing to the corner of the mat, and then bend deeply into that front knee. That knee is gonna stay right above that ankle so you still can see your big toe. Now take your hips, maybe move them a little bit more so they're facing in front of the room. Take a big breath in and exhale. Inhale, zip up through your belly button, reach your arms up, and exhale, press both feet strongly into the floor to lift through the sides of your waist and your arms more towards the ceiling. Take one more big breath in your Warrior One. Exhale, stay. Inhale, maybe press more through your feet. And then exhale, hands drop to your hips, step your back foot forward, shake something out. So that was our Warrior One pose. Now we're gonna move on to Warrior Two. So I'm gonna step towards the front of my mat this way. You guys keep staying towards the front of your mat. So from here now, my right foot is gonna stay forward, and my left foot's gonna step wide and back. Now this one we get to stand more on a snowboard rather than skis. So check your heels and make sure that front heel kind of, if you draw a straight line from the front heel to the back arch, it would almost go straight across. And then I again like to start with my hips, or my hands on my hips, and I'm gonna watch this knee as it bends and kind of lands over that front ankle. Now I still should be able to see my right toes. Now take a look at your back foot, because we forget about that sometimes, and press the outer edge of your back foot out towards your mat. As you press both feet firmly into the floor, lift up and zip up through that belly, and exhale, bring your arms out to the sides. Take one more breath in, and maybe the last part of the pose is that you look over the right hand. Now imagine your feet pressing firmly into the floor, but lifting your chest a little higher. Take one more big breath in, and exhale. Inhale, straighten the front leg, and I'm gonna switch to the other side. You stay to the front of your mat. So now, same thing. Now this is the front of my mat. So now, my left foot's gonna stay forward, my right foot's gonna step back. And then adjust your feet as you need to. So imagine you're on that snowboard, not those skis. And again, if you drew a line from your left heel to the arch of your right foot, it would be a straight line on your yoga mat. Hands on your hips, bend a little bit more in that front knee so that's right over the ankle, but you still should see your toes. Take a big breath in. Exhale, push your feet into the floor. Inhale, zip up through that belly button. And then exhale, bring your arms out wide into a warrior two. Last bit is to look over that left hand. Pause for a big breath in. And out. Inhale, maybe widen your arms wider. And exhale, sit low. Inhale, straighten that front leg. And exhale, step your feet together. Shake something out. You're doing a great job. These warriors can be a little tough. So this last one I'm going to teach you is a reverse warrior. Some people like to call it humble warrior or peaceful warrior. So it's the same setup that you're in warrior two. So again, this is going to be the top of my mat. You stay towards the top of yours. I'm going to keep my right foot forward and step my left foot back and come back to our snowboard position. Hands around your hips. Bend deeply into that front leg and then press firmly into that back foot. Now the trick here is to stay nice and low on this front leg. Let your back arm rest on that back leg and the right arm's gonna lift up to the ceiling. Now you get to look at the side of your room here because what we're gonna try to do is stretch a little bit more through the side of our waist. Take a big breath in your reverse warrior. And exhale. Inhale, come and pause for a warrior two. And then exhale, straighten that leg, hands to hips, back foot steps forward, shake it out. Now we're gonna go one more side. And again, this now is the front of my mat. So this time, left foot stays forward, right leg steps back. Keep your legs nice and wide. Step onto your snowboard and hands to hips. Bend deeply into that front knee. Make sure you can still see those front toes and press firmly through that back outer edge of your back foot. Let your back hand just simply rest on that leg. That's all it's going to do. And on your inhale breath, reach your left arm up and over, and you can look towards the side wall. Keep bending deeply into that front knee. Take a big breath in, feel the stretch all along your left waistline, and exhale, stay. Inhale, cartwheel the arms up, straighten that front leg, hands to hips, back foot steps forward, and we're good. All right, so those are our warrior series. So we went through warrior one, warrior two, and reverse warrior. So now we're gonna link them all together. And this time I'm going to have this be the front of my mat so you can see the wide version of it, but you're gonna stay forward on your mat as well. So as we step towards the top of our mats, keep your right foot forward and step your left foot back into that warrior one pose. So we're on skis right now. As you walk your right foot to the right a little bit, bend deeply into that front knee, lift your arms up, warrior one. Now we're gonna flow a little bit. Take a big breath in, stretch through your sides of your waist. Exhale, bring your hands to the center of your chest, open to the side of the room. Walk your feet so you're on the snowboard now, and arms stretch wide, warrior two. Inhale, turn your right palm up, let your back arm rest. Stretch along your right side for reverse warrior. And exhale, come back up to warrior two. Straighten that front leg, hands to hips, step it forward. Now I'm gonna switch to, again, now my new front of my mat over here, so we can do the opposite side. So hands to center of your chest, take a big breath in. Exhale, bend your knees, step your your right foot back and your left foot forward. And then make sure those feet are on skis. Turn your chest forward. Bend deeply into the front of the leg. Inhale, stretch your arms up. Warrior one. Exhale, bring your hands to the center of your chest. Open wide, scoot your feet so you're on a snowboard. Warrior two. Inhale, left palm towards the ceiling. Lifts up and over. Right hand rests on the back leg. Bend deep in that knee. Reverse warrior. And exhale, bring it back to warrior two. Straighten your leg out. Hands to hips. Step it forward. Shake it out. So now, one more time in a flow. You move at your pace with your breath. Be gentle in the movements. Take your time in the poses. So inhale. Left foot back, arms up. Warrior one. Exhale, hands to the center of your chest. Turn to face the wall. Warrior two. Inhale, stretch the arm up and back. Reverse warrior. Exhale, warrior two. Back foot steps forward. Pause for a breath in. Big breath out. This time, left foot stays forward. Right foot steps back. Bend low in the knees. Square your chest to the front of the room. Inhale, stretch tall. Warrior one. Exhale, pivot your feet. Find yourself on that snowboard. Arms stretch wide. Look over the front hand. Warrior two. Inhale. Left palm reaches towards the ceiling. Up and over. Back one rests on the leg. Knee bends forward. Reverse warrior. And exhale. Hands come back. Warrior two. Hands to hips. Big breath in. Exhale. Step it forward. Great job. Shake it out. Maybe do some jumps. Maybe do a windshield, or this is called a washing machine, from side to side. And then find yourself in stillness at the front of your mat. So we're gonna do another standing series here. So again, I'm gonna move towards the sides of my mat so that you can see the side version of this. So I'm gonna start with my feet forward on the mat here. So with my feet, there's two ways that you can hold your feet in this pose, so you get to decide. You can start with your toes to touch in a little space between your ankles, or you can keep your feet like your mountain pose with a little bit of space. It really doesn't matter here. A little bit more space is going to make you work a little harder. Toes touch is going to maybe get you deeper in the pose. So you decide what is best for your body. I'm going to start with my toes touching. I'm going to reach my arms forward in front of me, and I'm going to squeeze my legs together and imagine that I'm sitting in a chair. Now as I sit in the chair, I'm going to look down and kind of see, do I see my toes? And if I see my toes, I'm in a pretty good position here. Now I can stay here with my hands straight forward, or I can lift my arms up here for Utkatasana, which is also known as chair pose. Stay here for a big breath in, big breath out. On your next inhale breath, reach towards the front corner of the room, and your exhale breath, bring your hands behind you like your wings with your palms face down and your chest forward. We're going to move a little bit more like that. Inhale, lift your arms up. And exhale, lean forward. Stretch your spine long. Inhale, arms reach up. And exhale, lean forward. On this next one, inhale, reach your arms up. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. Now gently start to bring your weight now into your right foot and gently step your left foot back. Now if you need to take a pause along the way, do that. But step it back so that your feet's pretty wide and you're on the skis again. Now from here, I'm going to place a pillow under my knee for a little extra support. And you're welcome to do that here. Bend down and rest your back knee down. Lean forward and feel the stretch in the front of the back leg. Take a big breath in, stretch your arms up nice and long. And then exhale, bring both hands down to the floor. Now this might be a time we can grab a book or a block, something that's sturdy to help us get in the pose. I'm going to use a book here. Harry Potter books are pretty good for this. And as I bring my left hand onto the book, I'm going to reach my right arm up to the ceiling for a little bit of a twist. Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. Bring one more breath in, stretch taller through that top hand, and then exhale, bring your hands down, maybe onto your book or onto the floor. Lift that back leg up and step it towards the front of your mat. Now you can already see your legs are in a chair pose, so that's where we're going next. So deep in our chair pose, inhale, lift arms up parallel to the floor, or all the way up to the ceiling, your choice. Take a deep breath in, lift your arms up. Exhale, stretch them back. Inhale, arms come back up. Exhale, stretch them back. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, bring your wings behind you. Last breath in, maybe those legs are shaking. And exhale, hands come down to your chest. Keep the weight now into your left foot and step your right foot back behind you. Take a moment to find your position. You might need to walk your feet from side to side. You may need to take a couple steps here, that's okay. And then once you're here, let that back leg rest onto the floor and maybe find your book or your block. Bring your hands to the front leg and then dip forward with those hips. Feel a nice stretch in that back leg. I like to keep my toes curled under for a little bit more stability, but it's okay to let that toe relax on the floor too. Inhale, lift your arms up, stretch forward and long. And then exhale, bring your hand to your book or to your block. You can turn your chest toward that front leg. Lift now your left arm towards the ceiling. Take a big breath in and exhale out. Another breath in and exhale. One more breath. And then exhale, bring your hands to your books or your blocks or to the floor. Let your hands rest and support on something. Lift that back foot forward, step that back foot forward. Now we get to leave our legs straight and bend forward into a forward fold. So you may want to take your hands and clasp them at the base of your head. Maybe you just like them dangling towards the floor. Maybe you sway them side to side, draw figure eights. Maybe you decide to be still. Just breathe. Big breath. And out. Big breath in. And slow breath out. From here, bring your hands to your shins. Stretch long in that halfway lift. Hands come to your hips, elbows point towards the ceiling. And then slowly, slowly, slowly take yourself up into mountain pose. Now here's a great opportunity to find your water bottle and do something to take care of yourself. Maybe you decide to rest in a child's pose position. Or maybe we just take a break, say hi to our family member. I'm gonna get a drink from my water bottle. And just notice how your body feels right now. Maybe you start to feel a little bit more warmth. Maybe you're getting a little sweaty. Take a break for self-care. And you guys do you. So we're gonna move into some standing balance positions here. So I'm gonna start with our basic tree pose. It's often a favorite. And there's a lot of options or ways to get into our tree pose. Something that you should probably know about your body is that it is changing every day. So whether you were able to balance on one foot yesterday, maybe you're able to balance today, just know that that can change from day to day or even in the hour, because our bodies are changing all of the time. So there's lots of options to stay in their pose, even if we're being a little wobbly today. So I'll offer those options for you right now. So we're gonna start by pressing a little bit more weight into our left foot and bending through our right knee. You're gonna press your hands now at the center of your chest and really push your hands in towards each other so that your elbows splay out. And then from here, that knee is gonna turn out to the side. Now this is the start of our tree pose. So you wanna stay firm in that leg. We like to get a little sassy here, but we're gonna pull that leg firm so that we can stand strong on that front leg. Now you're gonna find a spot in front of you, maybe on the floor or the wall in front of you, that's not going to move, and I promise you that will not be me. So find something that's going to be still. And you can stay here with your toe resting on the floor in your tree pose. Maybe you decide to lift your foot below the knee and press into the shin bone as the shin bone presses back into that foot. Now, if you're feeling super flexible and bouncy, you can actually grab that ankle and place it a little bit higher onto the leg and press the leg and foot into each other as the knee goes down and out. And then maybe stay here, or if you choose to grow your tree, whoops, I'm gonna fall out of the pose, so I'm gonna come back down here. You can reach your arms up super tall and stretch and maybe look towards the sky and hold for 3. Big breath in, 2, and 1. Hands come down, foot comes down, shake out that leg. Give yourself permission to fall and wobble. That is part of learning. So if we fall or wobble or don't quite get it right the first time, that's okay. There'll be plenty of opportunities in the future. So now, place your foot. Maybe this is your stronger leg. So press that right leg into the floor, bend into that other knee, the left knee. And then turn the knee out to the side. Now again, I like to kind of stick my hip out here naturally, so I'm going to pull that up so that my leg is firm and strong. And then now I can either keep my toes here or start to lift that bottom foot up. You can place it below your knee with the knee pointing out to the side, or up above the knee but never on the knee because that's not safe in our bodies. Squeeze the leg and the foot together. Palms press at the center of your chest. Maybe your toe stays down, that's okay. Maybe you put your toe down and bring it back up again. Whatever you do is okay for you. Inhale, lift your arms up, stretch tall. Breathe in. Breathe out. Hold for 3. Big breath in, 2. And 1. Exhale, hands come down to the center of your chest. Leg lifts and set it down. Shake out those legs. You can also do a stretch in the top of your feet and your calves by leaning forward, turning the toes down and pressing a little bit on the tops of the feet. And switching sides. That's a good stretch for the tops of the ankles and the lower part of the shin bones. But you don't press too hard. You just kind of let the floor naturally stretch it. Okay. So steady in your tree pose. We're going to do this one more time. So you decide where you go. Pushing down into that left leg, bending in the right knee, turning it out to the side. So maybe this is enough for you. Maybe you press your palms and lift your foot just a little bit off the floor. Maybe you do the full pose and bring it all the way up above the knee and press in. This one's a little bit harder for me on this side. Notice the wobble, the shakes. Maybe you fall in and out. That's all okay. Take a big breath in. And exhale. Maybe you grow your tree. Hold for 3. Big breath in, 2. And 1. Hands come down. Set your foot down. Roll out circles in one direction and the other of that standing foot. Maybe kick it out. Okay. Back to our second side. Right leg stays firm. Left knee bends. Left knee turns out to the side. Pull that hip up and in, and this might be enough. This is some work. This is a lot of work for many of us. Maybe we just bring it to right above our ankle, and that is a beautiful pose. Or yogi's choice to move your foot a little higher and try that out. Maybe it doesn't stay there. It's okay. Whatever your pose is your pose. Maybe you choose to stay on 2 feet for this side. That's fine too. Bring your hands to the center of your chest. Big breath in. And out. Reach your arms up nice and tall. Stretch through the sides of your waist. Take another big breath in your tree. And exhale, bring it all down. Shake it out. Draw circles with this ankle and the other. And be grateful that both feet are now on the floor. So now I'm going to have you start with your feet a little bit wider apart. And you might need your hands in this pose. Maybe you don't. But we're going to find ourselves growing smaller and closer to the floor. Bending deeply into the knees until your heels can no longer stay on the floor. And then you lower all the way down. And maybe the hands rest onto the floor into this tiny little squat. And then as you're ready, start to walk your hands behind you and come on to sitting on your mat. And take a moment here, maybe wiggle from side to side. Maybe roll your shoulders up and back, say yes or no. Whatever it is your body needs to start to become still onto the floor. So you're gonna stay again facing the short edge towards the top of your mat. I'm gonna roll over onto the side so you can see a little bit more about what our next pose is going to be. So I'm gonna have you sit towards the center of your mat, making sure there's plenty of mat space behind you. And you're gonna take your hands onto your shins, and first you're gonna stretch your chest up really tall, and then on your exhale, you're gonna roll onto your backs until your back is all the way down onto the floor on your mat. Step out of the way so you can see. And from here, we're gonna start to hug your knees and your chest and rock from side to side. Do that a few more times. Maybe take a moment to do it slow. Feel the pressure of the floor on your back. You can choose to roll your knees out in a circle in one direction and then the other. And as you hug your knees in towards your chest, you're going to step your left foot and place the bottom of the foot on the floor while your right leg is going to stretch up towards the ceiling. And you're going to grab the back of your leg here, and it does not matter. We're not trying to stretch our leg towards our face. In fact, what we're going to try to do is press that right leg into the arms as the arms hold it strongly in place. From here, you're going to point your foot and flex it. Maybe draw circles with your toes. And press that, flex your foot so that you're stomping your foot on the ceiling and press that entire leg. And maybe it stays bent for you, and that's okay. This is really not so much a hamstring stretch as it is to get your foot above your heart, which is really important to do from time to time. Take a big, big breath in. And slow breath out. Hug your knee into your chest. And extend now the bottom leg all the way straight onto the floor. Now from here, you can take your right knee and imagine you're going to push it up towards your armpit off to the side. And then on your exhale breath, you're going to bring that knee over the body. Now you might want to take a moment here to scoop your hips to the right a little bit. And then the knee's going to go all the way across the body. Maybe it lands on a book or a blanket. And then your face is going to turn out towards your right arm. Start to slow your body down. Allow your bones, your muscles, your head to be very heavy onto the floor. Notice the urge in the mind of wanting to know what goes next, and remind your mind that you are okay just as you are. Take one more big breath in. Big breath out. Roll back onto your back. Maybe shift some things so that your back is straight and lying flat onto the floor. And take a moment to lay on your mat and notice the difference between your right and left side. Stay slow in your breath. Breathing in deeply and exhaling. Bring your knees back up to your chest. Roll again from side to side. Take your time. And then place your right foot onto the floor. Keep that knee poking up towards the ceiling.
And extend your left leg towards the ceiling. Now, it's okay for those legs to be bent. For many of you who are growing fast, those muscles are having a hard time keeping up with your bones, so maybe you need this leg bent. Maybe you can straighten your leg by imagining you're stomping your foot towards the ceiling. Point and flex. Draw circles with those toes. And then flex your foot one more time. Press the back of your left leg down and away while your hands hold them firmly in place, keeping your shoulders and your head on the floor. Maybe you feel a little shaking, and that's okay. That's our nervous system starting to slow down. So it's letting go of any of that extra energy that can sometimes be hard when we're trying to be still. Take one more deep breath in. Slow breath out. Hug now your left knee in towards your chest. Extend your right leg onto the floor. Swing that left knee up and into the armpit. Notice the stretch on the inner thigh. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, bring your leg across your body. You may want to do that little scoot to the left to reach your left leg over to the right and extend your left arm. And maybe look out at that arm, or maybe look at the ceiling. Maybe close your eyes. And just as you did on the first side, let those muscles and bones get super heavy onto the floor. And even though we're starting to slow down, we continue our deep breathing. Breathing in deeply. Slow exhales. Deep breath in. Slow breath out. Maybe now you're noticing the body starting to get a little heavier. Take one more breath in. Breath out. Roll onto your backs one more time. We're going to move into a candlestick pose. So placing your palms face down on the floor next to your hips. We're going to keep our entire back and head on the floor as we gently start to lift our legs towards the ceiling. You can always keep a bend in your legs. Start to bring your legs up towards the ceiling. So this may not be easy to do, but keeping your feet above your heart helps your parasympathetic nervous system, so that's the calming part of our nervous system, to work a little bit better. So stay here for just a while longer, breathing in deeply and breathing out. Maybe in this moment choosing our box breath or our square breath again, breathing in to the count of 4. Hold for the count of 4. Exhale, count of 4. Keep it out. One more like that. Inhale. And hold. Exhale. Keep it out. Big breath in. Exhale, hug your knees towards the center of your chest. Maybe choose to roll onto whichever side, your right or left side, that's right for you. And just take a moment to start to be heavy on your mat. So some of the things that you might want here is a pillow. And the pillow could be for your head, or maybe you like to place it under your knees. And one of the things that I like to do is place the blanket on top of me. And if I don't have it over my entire body, maybe having a little bit of the weight over the tops of the thighs. So take a moment to find some props. If you don't have that, you're just going to take a moment to either lie on your side or your back. And take your time to get there. I'm going to place my blanket or my pillow under my knees and my blanket on the tops of my waist. You're going to let your shoulder blades rest onto your back. Palms face up to the ceiling. And legs are stretched out long. So if you choose to join me in this very traditional Shavasana pose, you're welcome to stay here. If you like to roll on one side or the other, if that feels more safe and supported to you, move to that. And maybe choose to close your eyes here. And no matter what you do or where you are, allow those muscles and bones to get heavier and heavier onto the floor. And do your very best to be quiet and still. Let your breath go back to normal. And now, as if you are going to play a movie in your head, I want you to listen to my words and follow the suggestions, just in your mind. So at the beginning of our class, I asked you to name something that you missed. And I want you to imagine that thing that you miss. For some of us, it could be a friend that I see at school or a teacher. Maybe it's an activity. But something that you miss. And notice what that feels like in your body. Allow yourself to miss. Where do you feel that in your body? And as you imagine yourself with that person or that doing that activity, notice how the body changes as you begin to bring that to your mind. Maybe you can feel a smile cross on your face. Maybe you can even imagine what it feels like to do that activity or be with that person or thing that you miss. Take a moment and imagine yourself there. Now shift your attention or that movie in your mind to that thing that you named which you are grateful. Maybe it's your family, your brother, your sister, your pet. Or maybe you're grateful for other things such as living in a beautiful house, your room, or a safe place. And as you play that movie in your head, notice what it feels like in your body to be grateful. Notice how the feelings or the emotions change. And notice that you can still hold that thing that you miss and still be grateful. So as you play that movie in your head, remain still in your body with just your breath. And as we're quiet for another moment or two, and that you remain still, when you hear my singing bowl ring 3 times, gently begin to start moving. Allowing yourself to move slowly with gentle wiggles and fingers and toes. Maybe roll your head from side to side very slowly. You can stretch your arms up and overhead. Bring your toes as far away from your fingers as you possibly can, like you're waking up first thing in the morning. Take one more big breath in, and then exhale, be floppy. Roll onto your side and pause, just noticing this shift. If you're not already on on your side, maybe roll to the opposite side and just feel the difference in moving from one position to another. And then as you're ready, start to bring yourself up into a comfortable sitting position. You can place your hands onto your legs if that feels good to you, or if you would like to join me, you can place your hands together at the center of your chest, sitting up nice and tall. So in yoga, we have a greeting that we say to each other when we welcome them and when we say goodbye. And that word is namaste. And that namaste roughly translates to the light in me honors the light in you. So I invite you to join me in that statement, saying out loud, the light in me sees the light in you. Namaste. Stay for a moment for a brief little checkout, and I'll be with you shortly. Hello, yogis. Thank you for joining me in the movement portion of our class. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm just going to do a really brief checkout with you here. So we're going to go back to our questions. So noticing in your body right now how stressed you feel, with 1 being not at all and 5 being the most stressed, please put your number for after. And then the next question is, how calm do you feel in your body? With 1 being the least calm and 5 being the most calm you've ever felt. And write that number in your after. And then if you could please do us a big favor and write those numbers, the before and after for stressed and calm, in the comment section of your YouTube, as well as any other feedback you'd like to offer at this time. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed our yoga class, feeling calm and grounded in this time of crazy transition. Namaste.